Brooklyn Nets have KD, Kyrie, Dinwiddie, Karras, all this good talent, but I'll tell you why they're not winning the championship. And it's pretty simple. All right, let's get straight to it. We know earlier, I think it was this month or like a month ago, the Brooklyn Nets, they found their new coach in Steve Nash. And you might be like, okay, well, their coaching will be fine. Steve Nash is a good basketball mind. Well, you ever heard of a guy named Jason Kidd? He was a great basketball mind. He was not a good coach at all. So this is a bad thing for the Nets. Now, losing Steve Nash, they lose some culture. Kenny Atkinson had people in there playing on holidays. People dedicated to progress. That's why Spencer Dinwiddie progressed so quickly. He was dedicated to that grind. He was willing to work. And well, now who do they have? KD and Kyrie. And KD has been known to show up to practices late. Now, I'm not saying that really does anything. It's Kevin Durant. I don't know, but it's a shift in culture for sure. All right, the second reason they won't win the championship. Perimeter defense. They need to get some before the start of the season. If we're thinking about a lineup they can potentially run, it's like what? Kyrie at the 1, horrible defender. Maybe Joe Harris or Karis LeVert at the 2 and 3, pretty bad defenders. Kevin Durant, he's an average defender now. He used to be a pretty horrific defender. And now you got Jared Allen or DeAndre Jordan in the middle. DeAndre Jordan, he's a decent defender. Not too good of a post defender anymore. He's a decent shot blocker. He's pretty old. Jared Allen's a pretty good shot blocker, but he's a pretty bad post defender. So if you're thinking like, okay, if they get to the finals, they play somebody like Jokic or Anthony Davis, they can have the work cut out for them on that end of the ball. Or if you think they got to get through, I don't know, Milwaukee, who's going to stop Giannis? We know KD's a big body, but he's not. I don't know if he's strong enough to keep up with Giannis. He can give him a good fight. I don't know if he's strong enough to keep up with Giannis, though. If they play a Miami Heat team where they have a great system and they need to play great team defense, well, where's that going to come from? Because all I know Kyrie can do really is get in passing lane sometimes, get a steal. Same thing with Karis LeVert pretty much. KD, he's an okay defender in the paint. He's a decent defender in the perimeter. Like, this defense is not going to cut it out for them. All right, the third, chemistry issues. We've heard Kyrie talking about these problems in the locker room. He said, because these problems in the locker room have been prevalent ever since he left Cleveland. In Boston, what did he do? He wanted to be the leader, right? And that's all cool and all. But no, he wants to be more than just a leader. He wants to lead in points per game. He wants to take the last shot all the time. He wants to do all these things. And Gordon Hayward was down to let him hear him out. But Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were like, hey, look, we're fringe all-stars right here. We can't be like getting disrespected like this. We're taking you to the Eastern Conference Finals when you're injured on the bench. And we're the ones that are actually playing. What they should do. Okay. I was thinking one. Okay. I don't know if they have their full mid-level exception, which is about $9 million a year. But you spend that on Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder said he wants to stay in Miami. But you try and spend that on Jay Crowder. Or even you try and go overpay for him. And trade a piece so you can clear up some cap space so you can play the overpay for him. You need that perimeter defense. You need a dog. Who is the dog on the Nets? Nobody. Nobody's a damn dog. Nobody's that good of a leader. KD's an okay leader, yeah. But who was a leader in OKC? Westbrook. Who was a leader in Golden State? Steph. Y'all don't really have a good leader. Like, there's some problems with chemistry in that locker room. And I feel like it's going to make itself fall apart. Just like Milwaukee. Giannis is a good leader, right? But he's not that good of a leader as, let's say, LeBron James or Chris Paul. You need a leader in your locker room. Number 4, the system. What offensive system are they going to be talking about? You're going to be saying, okay, well, they don't really need a system, right? They have talented players. Kyrie, KD, they're fine. They have very talented players. Did we see what happened to the Clippers this year? The most talented roster in the league. Deepest roster in the league. 2 6-man of the year candidates on the same team. what happened in the playoffs? Because of the lack of a system, even though the Nuggets defense is not that good on paper, they can play team defense to clamp up Kawhi. They can play team defense and stop Paul George from getting the looks he wants. Gary Harris, Jeremy Grant, they will most definitely bother those superstars, and it showed. So KD and Kyrie, do you think if they have no system that they can get past the East? I don't think so. Because you think of, oh, okay, well, KD had a good time at Golden State and didn't seem to have a system. No, they had a great system in Golden State. They had KD coming off-ball screens, backdoor cuts. They had him on flare screens, on floppies, on all these things. They always had him moving around the offense. They made a 7-footer run around screens and be annoying as hell to guard, because you not only do you have to guard him on ball because he can dribble, but you got to come off screens and guard him and switch on screens and do all these things. Now, do the Nets have a system like that? They had one. They had a good system with Kenny Atkinson. It was good. It wasn't great like Mike Malone or Eric Spoelstra or Greg Popovich level, but it was a good system. It was a decent system. They were winning basketball games off that system. Number 5, which is the easiest one to point out if you're looking at this roster deep. Who is their facilitator? If you think of great teams around the league, contending teams that got to the Western Conference Finals this year, or the conference finals for their conference, whatever. Who's the facilitator for the Nuggets? Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic is the better facilitator. I'll give you that. They're both pretty damn good facilitators for their position. No, Jokic is elite facilitator for his position. LA, they had LeBron fucking James, one of the best facilitators in NBA history, one of the best playmakers in NBA history. They will be fine. Trust me, you will be fine if you have LeBron on your roster. So you shouldn't even have to worry about that. Eastern Conference Finals. Who is a facilitator for the Heat? Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic, Bam Adebayo. There's 3 facilitators right there, and they all put up great numbers in the conference finals. You might have been like, who's a facilitator for the Celtics? That is right. Who is a facilitator for the Celtics? They had more talent than the Heat. They were expected to beat the Heat in about 6 to 7, and they ended up losing in 6 and losing. And they started off with a down 2-0 lead, blowing 2 10-point leads in the first 2 games. You know why? It was a facilitator. You can't have Jason Tatum just ISO the ball away and try and hope he shoots the skin off the ball every damn game like you want KD to do, because that's not happening. With all due respect, that is not happening, bro. You cannot expect a player to go off like that and ISO ball for that much every night. That's what happened to the Clippers. That's what happened to Boston. That's what happened to Houston. All a bunch of ISO heavy teams at the time got killed for it. Even Milwaukee had a good amount of ISOing, and they killed them for it. The Raptors were probably the best team with the best system that didn't get to the Eastern Conference Finals this year. They have a great system and they lost. And it was just because the superstar didn't show up. If Pascal Siakam showed up, that would have been a 6-game series. And that would have been the Raptors series to win.